The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you and welcome to the special council meeting of Wilmot Council. At this time, I would like to again say thank you to our frontline and essential workers. I also want to thank our residents for doing your part in maintaining physical distancing, working from home, where able, and being supportive of local businesses. I finally want to thank all staff here at Wilmot Township for their dedication to ensuring the safety and services for our residents are maintained while ensuring their own safety. All of these tireless efforts have not gone unnoticed, and together we can all ensure a safe and healthy emergence from this pandemic. And so at this moment, we'd like to just take a moment of silence to recognize all those people that are working so hard and at risk. So thank you. And Councillor Gordick, if you'd like.
We have gathered in Wilmot Township on the traditional territory of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee and Mississauga peoples. We also want to acknowledge the importance of the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, a peace agreement made between Indigenous nations before the Europeans arrived. It characterizes our collective responsibility to each other and Mother Earth. We should take only what we need, leave enough for others, and keep the dish clean. By acknowledging this covenant and the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people, we are reminded of our important connection to this land where we live, learn, and work together as a community.
Thank you, Councillor Gordick. Now, are there any disclosure of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Seeing none. So we are here for one report, and because it's a special meeting, any conversation will pertain only to that report. So we can start off with an introduction. I guess, Mr. Kelly, you're going to take this.
Thank you, Mayor Armstrong. This report before you outlines phase 2 of the proposed financial and economic relief measures being put forward in response to the COVID-19 pandemic on the Wilmot community, both residences and businesses, with the initial phase of economic relief coming to an end on May 31st. The area treasurers group from across the region has been working over the past several weeks to develop a phase 2 approach to allow for continued financial and economic relief to those residents and businesses that still require it. The guiding principles for developing this phase 2 relief program were to ensure that municipalities are not duplicating relief measures provided by other levels of government. Specifically, the township should only provide support in areas it has jurisdiction over. Secondly, we want to utilize financial tools in a prudent manner to manage financial obligations of the township moving forward. And thirdly, any relief program should not be permanent in nature, but be in response to the impacts of this specific COVID-19 pandemic. So after review of various or review and brainstorming from all the area CFOs and treasurers, this was presented to the area CAOs, who were in full support of our recommended phase 2 relief program. This program would extend the immediate short-term relief measures by waiving penalty and interest on property taxes until June 30th, waiving penalty and interest for utilities and other invoices until June 30th, waiving all NSF fees until June 30th, and suspending all collection activities until August 31st, 2020. In order to provide additional relief for those who are most in need, we are also proposing the introduction of an application-based emergency support final installment property tax deferral program. This would be available to both residential and non-residential customers, allowing for 60-day extension to the final installment of their property taxes. It's targeted to those who have experienced financial hardship as a result of this pandemic and the application deadline would be July the 31st of 2020. This approach has already bin presented to councils in other jurisdictions within the region and received favorably and approved in those jurisdictions. So in an effort to remain consistent with our regional peers while providing necessary support to our ratepayers, staff are recommending this approach be approved by council at this time. And I'm here to take any questions on the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Anyone have any questions, comments? Councillor Hallman?
Through the mayor, thank you. My only comment is wondering if we can issue a press release, the same as we did last time, that we can easily circulate to the community.
I'm sure that will be done after the meeting. There will be a release of the what has occurred this evening.
Yes. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Councillor Gordick?
Through you, Mayor Armstrong, I'm assuming that this is sort of fluid, Mr. Kelly, in that while there's dates at the moment, as we continue to maybe perhaps go further into our emergency closures, some of the dates might move forward, like the August 31st could become September 30th, but again, that would come back to council. But I'm assuming some of the dates are fluid, just as a reference point.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong.
I would assume so, but go ahead, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Armstrong. Yeah, area treasurers have been taking the approach of a phased economic relief program. Some other jurisdictions have advanced further beyond than what the emergency currently is predicting. We're consistent in the approach across the region to take it in a phased approach. So yes, when we reach that, the end point of this status of this relief, we'll continue to update council if there's any further relief measures down the road.
Thank you.
Yeah, the important thing is that everybody knows that this is not written in stone. It's always on paper, so it can be changed. Councillor Fenning, you have a comment or question?
I just want to say thank you to the staff for continuing to adjust and adapt. I know it's been challenging without knowing where we're headed, and nobody's got a crystal ball. So thank you for taking into account what our residents are going through and working on that.
Yeah, I know staff across the region have been very conscious of what's going on. We all know that everybody is suffering. It's not just small businesses, but everybody is. So we know that there's a lot of people struggling. So we want to do the best we can to help them through that. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll read the recommendation. That report, COR 2020-24, outlining the Phase 2 financial and economic relief, COVID-19, be received for information purposes, and further, that the township extend additional financial and economic support to residents and businesses by A, waiving penalties and interest on property taxes for the month of June 2020, waiving late payment charges on utility bills and miscellaneous receivable invoices for the month of June 2020, waiving non-sufficient funds NSF fees charged on customer accounts for the month of June 2020, and suspending collection activities until August 31st, 2020, and further, that staff developed an application-based property tax deferral program to extend the 2020 final property tax due dates by 60 days for qualifying residents and business property owners. That is moved by Councillor Fenning, Councillor Hallman. No further comments or questions? We'll call the question. All in favor? I see 5 hands, so that is passed unanimously. Thank you very much. So the next item is a confirmatory bylaw. The recommendation that bylaw number 2020-14 to confirm the proceedings of council at this meeting held on May 12, 2020 be introduced, read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed in open council. Moved by Councillor Gordick, Councillor Gerber. All in favor? High five, that's good. Passed unanimously. And finally, the recommendation that we do now adjourn to meet again at the call of the mayor. Councillor Fisher, Councillor Fenning, all in favor? Another high five. So we are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us, and thank you to council for arriving quickly at this in such short notice. So thank you, everyone.
Night.
Good night. Good night.
Good
Good to see
night.
everybody.